Outside of his wife, Erica, who I know very well, I think if anybody is authorized to say what I'm about to say on behalf of Aaron Donald, it's me. For obvious reasons. No, it's no uh-oh. No, it's no uh-oh. It's just the answer to the question that it wasn't important to be the highest paid defensive player. Oh, no, it was important. Even if it wasn't important to him, it was important in general that Aaron Donald get broken off real proper like. First of all, that story came and went kind of quickly, did it not? Much for Aaron Donald retiring, right? It all worked out in the end. But here's the thing, man. One of my favorite lines, whether you want to assign it to Felicia Snoop Pearson in The Wire or William Money in Unforgiven, is deserves got nothing to do with it. In this instance, deserve had everything to do with it. I'm going to state the obvious, but it deserves to be stated as many times as possible. Is this man deserves every penny of this brand spanking new 3-year, $95 million contract that comes with $40 million guaranteed. Okay, this is a great day for defense. I believe only 11 quarterbacks average more money than he does, and it's probably 11 too many. Okay, if we want to be honest about it. Like, this is a great day for defense, and it's a great day for getting what you deserve. His resume speaks for itself. His impact is beyond the already impressive numbers that he's put up over his 8-year career. So just good for Aaron Donald, good for the Rams, good for football that this guy gets the contract he deserved and is no longer underpaid.
Exactly.
He was underpaid, vastly underpaid.
You say good for football. You see that list under Aaron Donald, and there's a bunch of 20s in there. To put that 3 on there, to get that Aaron Donald money, it just really completes the circle for him. He won the Super Bowl last year. He's been a Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He has been recognized as one of, if not the best player in football. I haven't gone that far yet. I haven't said he's the best player in football, but he's in the top 3.
You know where I stand. You know where I stand.
I know. He's in the top 3, top 5. But now, the impact off the field for Aaron Donald. Because every other player can say, I've reached the point where I need that Aaron Donald money. That Aaron Donald, like, we know what that means now. What that means is you better put a 3 in front of it instead of a 2. And I know there aren't many players in football who can even sit at that conversation and look Aaron Donald in the eye and be a peer. Sure. And they understand. They're speaking the same language. Most of the time, he's, as Mike Krzyzewski once told a recruit, I understand great players. You ate alone last night, didn't you? It's a solitary existence when you're as great as you are. All right, so Aaron Donald lives that life too, where he's a soloist. He's just not another member of the band. But for those who are approaching that level, they're going to say Aaron Donald money, and we're all going to understand what that means. It's great. You're right. It's great for football. It's great for him.
I just like that, and I always wondered, I kept asking, like, why isn't this quick and easy? Like, why isn't it just a matter of just handing him a checkbook, Stan Kroenke saying, here, put what you need, whatever it is, with it. No, but I'm saying, but
that's why it wasn't what it is.
You make an exception. Clearly, it was. Tell me where the contention was. Tell me what aspect of the deal does not favor Aaron Donald. He got a completely new deal with a $40 million raise that he's tied to the Rams for 2 years. He can retire with no penalty. Pretty soon, if he wants to, he could be a free agent and go to another team if he wants to. Like, this is a very player-friendly deal, and I'm saying this is refreshing because for once, it did not have to be contentious. We talked about this a lot. Like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Just because you have the hammer doesn't mean you have to necessarily use it. Like Aaron Donald, no pun intended, as we watch him, work through his, usual 2 and 3 double teams, Aaron Donald actually had leverage here because the Rams had a choice. Either you do right by the best player in football or he walks away and doesn't play for you. And good luck defending your title that you worked so hard to get, that you spent so much in draft capital and actual financial capital to get. So it was nice to see that this wasn't some long, drawn-out, contentious process where he ended up, holding out from training camp and is drug into, August and even September. They actually did the right thing. And it's nice to see a team do the right thing by a player for once.
Yeah, but I'm not necessarily putting complex and contentious on the same plane. I think it was a complex deal, not because, it needed to be adversarial. I'm saying it's complex because there's nothing like it. There's no one like Aaron Donald. And when there's no one like a player and you're trying to come up with a contract for this unique player, the contract is going to be precedent setting because you can't say, let's just model it after Denzel Ward's contract or TJ Watt's contract. No.
Maybe the word that I was missing is reluctance. Like it should not, put it this way. It should not, even though it's all said and done, it's all good, it's water under the bridge, over the dam, wherever you like it, he's signed, sealed, and delivered, he's coming back, right? It should not have taken the amount of time and within that time, filled with speculation, some of it fueled by Aaron Donald, okay, doing a press tour, talking about him being at peace if it didn't work out. There should have been no ifs, ands, or buts about whether this was going to work out, is all I'm saying. We knew that the deal was going to need a lot of guarantees, if not being fully guaranteed, and we knew it had to have a 3 in front of the average per year, both of which he accomplished. And on top of that, he gets the freedom to be able to walk away without financial penalty. In other words, Michael, all I was saying is Aaron Donald is so good. You talk about Aaron Donald money, let's talk about Aaron Donald leverage. Aaron Donald is so good and so dominant and so important that this really wasn't much of a negotiation from the Rams' perspective. This was about how much do we have to give him to make him happy and bring him back. That's what it should have always been about. Clearly, given the results of the deal, that's what it was about. It got to a point where he was happy, and now he's back, and it's all good. Happy ending.
And, he keeps talking now. He keeps talking, and I like it. Keeps talking about getting that feeling back of winning a championship. He wants to do that again. It's all about winning. And I like their chances. Not like they're the runaway favorite, but I don't think anybody would be surprised if once again, last game in February 2023, we're sitting there watching the Rams versus somebody, and Aaron Donald's got a chance to go back-to-back. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's a Defensive Player of the Year in the 2022 season either.
Yeah, the only thing that would surprise me is if it ends up, and not to get too far ahead of ourselves, is if he ends up playing a couple of years for the Rams and, ends up moving and changing teams. And I don't see, even though, regardless of what was said, this has a lot to do with money, if not all about the money, understandably so. He was criminally underpaid. I don't see him as a guy that wants to put his body through this into a 12, 14, 15-year career. I do think he finishes, my prediction is that he finishes as a Ram. This is his last contract. I don't think at age 33, 34 years old, he's still taking that pounding for another team under the guise of being a free agent. That's the only thing that would surprise me. He'll add more to his trophy case in the next couple of years, but I think he's got just a couple more years left to do this. He cashed in at one last time, and he's moving on. The thing now, speaking of negotiations that don't have to be contentious, but let's stay in the NFC West. I'm sorry, you got one more thing on this? Go ahead.
Yeah, just one more thing. I think we're past this period. Well, we may be past this period where college students, high school students find out what schools they're going to, right? It's usually like in the spring. It's usually April or May. And a lot of people get caught up in this, hey, it wasn't my first choice. I didn't get into the school that I really wanted to get. I wanted to get into the Ivies. I wanted to go to Howard. I wanted to go to Spelman. I wanted to go somewhere, and I didn't get in. And you feel like that is like some type of sentence. Keep in mind, the beautiful thing about the Aaron Donald story is this guy was a two-star. He was a two-star high school recruit. They said he was too small. They said he was too small, and he just happened to be from Western Pennsylvania. That's why Pitt came in and got him. He didn't have a lot of people looking at him saying, hey, that guy is the next. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is a great inspirational story, too. He's at the top now.
No question.
But think about where he came from, and you'll be inspired.
Oh, he was not an overnight success. He was not an overnight success. $95 million over 3 years passes the $92.3 million paid to Josh Allen, and obviously far surpasses $63 paid to Patrick Mahomes in the first 3 years, which that 3-year payout is really a benchmark for these contracts. I just love to see a defensive player no longer be a prisoner to the idea that, oh, you're not a quarterback. Like, that's another thing we got to graduate past, is paying quarterbacks strictly based off the position they play. It may be the most important position in sports, but not everybody should benefit from that. You know what I mean? Like, the pay scale should not be so far out of whack just because somebody plays quarterback when an Aaron Donald has just the same, if not more impact on the game than most of the people playing quarterback and just benefiting from having played.
That's a runaway train, though. That train has run away, and we will never capture it. Now, what's happening?
Like you just said, there's a precedent that's set. We just got a guy break that $30 million barrier.
I get it, but if I say in that position, if what's going to happen is if you keep your quarterback, you're going to pay him a lot of money. And then if you don't like your quarterback, you just keep drafting somebody or trading for somebody until you get what you like. But the salary is not going down.
No. I'm not saying it's got to go down. And obviously, and all of them won't get the same amount as Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I'm saying the defensive money needs to come up. Whether you are an interior pass rusher, an edge TJ Watt type rusher, or Myles Garrett or what have you, even somebody in the secondary. Like, these guys for far too long have had to live under the restrictions of, oh, well, you're not a quarterback, so we can't pay you quarterback money. What if I'm the best player in the NFL? What if I'm dominating the game the same as a quarterback does? How about the fact that my job is to disrupt the opposition's quarterback? Doesn't that put me somewhat on equal value?
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.